Maka the other one, Eshin Abariba Ononala. Mbamaze jump propel the other time.
He did not jump bail. He remained in Nigeria. His case was to come up sometime in October.
Adem sure na onye nwete onye ga stand mu the bell, and that's one. Two. Mazi violated bail conditions here, so he cannot be trusted.
I want to ask you about IPOB and all that. You stood shortly for Nnamdi Kanu. At the time when the John bail, what was going through your mind?
No, at the time that he escaped, because he said himself, and even said it.
Just
and even when he came to court the other day, he said, "I ran for my life." So there are two things about jumping bail and escaping for your life. So I think we need to always make that very, very clear. So at the time that he ran for his life, all that happened was that we said, okay, so we'll go back to court and make our case. And I came back to court and I went to the judge and we made a deposition and said that on the basis of the legal principle of last seen, that the last people that were seen with him were the soldiers of the Nigerian army who were invading his residence, his father's residence where he was staying, and therefore they have the responsibility of talking about what happened. And we deposed it in court, and the matter went to court, and the judge ultimately
Jump propel the other time. Adem sure na onye nwete onye ga stand mu the bell, and that's one. Two. Mazi violated bail conditions here, so he cannot be trusted.
Deposed in court, and the matter went to court, and the judge ultimately ruled that they are revoking bail. Most Nigerians didn't know that the judge had actually revoked the bail and issued a warrant of arrest, thereby removing us from responsibility again of providing him. Yeah, that's what happened.
Not many people know this.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. So that's why when a lot of people were shouting, "Oh, go and bring a body, let him produce him," I just laughed because I knew that they were not on any strong legal foundation.
Did you at any point think that you could be put in this llama over his
No, I never.
escape?
I was always shocked because the facts, of course, were very, very.
You didn't feel betrayed that they did that to you?
No, I didn't feel. I said he escaped for his life, so he couldn't have been betrayal.
But he didn't communicate with you, and
if he is running for his life, I expect him to be communicating with me. How would he communicate? I was as surprised as anybody when after that whole.
Maka the other one, Eshin Abariba Ononala. Mbamaze jump propel the other time. Adem sure na onye nwete onye ga stand mu the bell, and that's one. Two. Mazi violated bail conditions here, so he cannot be trusted. That's two. Then three. And when he hear George na sentence no Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. George said na Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is so dangerous that odemma ide we be human being so no. George ya. Then when he shoot through Mazi wu emayi ikpo.
After that whole drama, he surfaced in Israel, and I immediately wrote a letter to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, asking the Foreign Affairs to instruct our Nigerian ambassador in Israel to ascertain whether the person that we see in his photograph is actually this person. I never got a response from our foreign affairs minister. Because that letter that I wrote and all that, I also filed it in court. Because I always following the legal and proper procedure. I never got any response. I didn't hear anything again. And of course, part of the ruling of the judge in this matter, we had also gone on appeal, and the matter is still pending. But now that there's another, I don't think that matter will be.
If they were to granting bail again, would you stand?
Maka the other one, Eshe abaribe ono n'ala. Mgbe maazi Trump propel the other time. Adem sure na ọ ga-enwetenwu onye ga-stand mu the bell, and that's one. Two.
If they were to granting bail again, would you stand? Would you be willing to?
If the circumstances are the same, why not? The first circumstance was that the judge said that they need a senator, to be part of his sureties. And so if a judge turns out again and says this is also this thing, I don't see why. I'm a senator of the Federal Republic. I come from the Southeast. I'm the chairman and the minority leader. At that time, I was chairman of the Southeast Caucus. Right now, the chairman of the Southeast Caucus is Ike Madrid. So maybe if such a situation as chairman, he would deflect it to him. I don't think that we will run away from our responsibility. It's our son. So our son is from our state, and we think also that despite everything, there are fundamentals that we must deal with, and those fundamentals is what we need to actually focus on.
Yes.
And that fundamental is, what is it about this particular government that is leading to this type of alienation from component parts? Because it's not just Nnamdi Kanu. Ugo is also there somewhere insisting that they should also go their way. It's not just him. What we thought really was that the first things first. You don't deal with the symptom. You try to deal with what is it that has led to these symptoms. We think that the symptoms are the cries for, that, and the basis of it is what Maitona Sule and a few northern leaders of thought when they went to meet with President Buhari after his election in 2015, and they said to him, justice is the basis for whatever everybody will do. If you do justice to all, then you will have no problem. And we think that that is the problem.
The other one, Eshe abaribe ono n'ala. Mgbe maazi Trump propel the other time. Adem sure na ọ ga-enwetenwu onye ga-stand mu the bell, and that's one. Two. Maazi violated bail conditions here, so he cannot be trusted. Yeah, that's two. Then three. Enwere ihe George kwuru na sentence Maazi Nnamdi Kanu. George sị na Maazi Nnamdi Kanu is so dangerous that ọ dị mma idewe ebe human beings nọ. George kwuru ya. Then we kwuo na ihe suturu Maazi iwu ịmanye ikpe ọnwụ.
Soldiers who came for his life, and the process, over 28 persons were killed. We have the pictorial evidence to that effect. We have the video evidence of what transpired in his house. All these are before the court, and it's important that the court is hard, because that
you can hear shots. This is stuff going on in the home of the This is happening now in the home of the leader of the Justice Professor. The Nigerian army is here. They are here now. Oh, come and see, look at Enu. Tank. Can get that tank. You can hear the sound going on. The Nigerian army is here shooting. They are here shooting at the home of the leader of the Justice Professor. Mebuza. How's the video? Sorry, here. Okay. The Nigerian army now shooting now in the home of the leader of the Justice Professor. You can hear shots being fired. They are shooting aimlessly. They are shooting and killing our people. Sir. I'm live. I don't know, there are many. Yes. You can hear shots. This is happening now in the home of the leader of the Justice Professor. The Nigerian army are shooting our people. You can hear this.
It is that the other one was granted. And he was adjourned Trump rebelled the other time.
Acceding to all the conditions of the bail. He did not jump bail. He remained in Nigeria. His case was to come up sometime in October. But between 14th and 17th of September 2017, particularly on the 17th, particularly on the 14th, the federal government, through Operation Python Dance, a python that never danced against Boko Haram, a python that has never danced against armed bandits, a python that has never danced against kidnappers, a python that has never danced against hunger, against quello, against abject penury, a python that has never danced against a pilous economy, against a python that never danced against corruption, which has made Nigeria one of the most corrupt nations in the world, number 148, and the second most corrupt country in West Africa. Nnamdi Kanu was in his ancestral home at Afarauko, Ibeko, Umuahia, Abia State, with his family, when Operation Python danced, wriggled and danced sensationally to his ancestral home and bombarded the home like during the civil war between Biafra and Nigeria. And Nnamdi Kanu barely escaped through the whiskers. He escaped by providence. Had he went immediately and landed in the state of Israel, where he put this word to an affidavit that I have been forced to flee from my country. Anytime the federal government gives me the green light, I'm ready to return to face my charges. The father and mother never recovered from this military invasion that left 28 innocent Nigerians mauled down, killed in cold blood. Then you came here to say he jumped bail. How do you say a person fleeing for his life jumped bail? If Nnamdi Kanu had been killed in that unprovoked invasion, we won't be here today talking. There will be no, because we don't try dead people in the graves. That same God who has been on the throne will continue to be on the throne until Nnamdi Kanu is released. And even after Nnamdi Kanu is released. And in Nnamdi Kanu, read my lips. We and shall and must be released in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. The reason is simple. There is nothing impossible before God. Anything that God cannot do does not exist. Go and read Genesis 18:15. Go and read Jeremiah 32:27. Behold, I am the God of all flesh. Is there anything?
Imagine Nnamdi Kanu agent my ogwagi here na nuisance say na post on social media with ndo autopilot. On emi here and in case some na kwa ma Nnamdi Kanu emu here 1 naira. Omo ni here na social media. Na hu ya no nga he hola ndị 100 men ọ dịghị mma. Ndị attract na pop gị ho ha we na social media ọ dịghị mma. Ihe ọzọ mere ugbu a na gị gbapụ ndị autopilot. Ha nọ na social media na disgrace ndị Igbo. The truth of the matter was, the IPOB leadership should look at the activities of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Ofonye adakona, Ofonye ade wood. I get a letter and I'm a advice to stop this nuisance. Ya no money na cost. Ota keje to go jonya gba yoku anya gba yoku. If you don't want to share right, we disgrace so moon. Ota kunu she wanted the Biafra. Ota na ndo autopilot no na social media na-eti na water onukwo nnu ni Mazi Nnamdi Kanu chapter chrono. Ota ka ga se nwete the Biafra. Una no.
Saying that in 2017 he jumped bail, though he was arrested in 2015, but according to him, he fled because of his life.
Well, my reaction is the same with that of most Nigerians who feel that Nnamdi Kanu receiving the short end of the knife from the federal government. Recall that he was arrested in 2015 and then kept in custody for 2 good years without trial, over and against all provisions of the law, over and against all pronouncements of court that he should be either taken to court or be released on bail. But federal government refused, neglected and denied to grant him his constitutionally guaranteed right. And then even when he was eventually taken to court, the same federal government, through the instrumentalities of coercion, sent the military to ransack his community and threaten his life. In the process, many people lost their lives. It is not hidden. And in the course of this struggle, Nnamdi Kanu has lost both parents, and even though not killed directly by the federal government, by the trauma of his ordeal may have led to the death of his parents. So? The trauma of his ordeal. He said so himself. I don't think so. He said so himself.
Right.
And a man was on bail, and then he was ready and was going to court, and all of a sudden the soldiers swooped onto him, and then of course it is only a tree that will hear that it is about to be cut down and remain standing at that spot.
So it was right for him to jump bail.
Every human being, every animal, not just a human being, that feels threatened by any way in any manner will likely shift ground. So if Nigeria begin to look at the narrative of jumping bail, that would be unfair to Nnamdi Kanu. The narrative is that, yes, very unfair.
Why
the narrative is that his life was threatened, obviously threatened, and he had to run away, which is a national stimulus of every human being and of every animal. Even if you have a goat at your backyard and you approach the goat with food in one hand and with stick on the other hand, the goat will reject your food.
Don't you think that while he was in custody, his life could also have been threatened if that is what government was trying to do?
Why did you not ask the soldiers what they went to do in his house?
Right.
That should be the right question. What did the soldiers go to do in his house? In the process, people lost their lives. What did they go there to do? At that point, what did he do?
Perhaps
Even if
because
you
he
have
was being
committed, even if you have committed any offense in the eye of the law, or
Right.
in the opinion of the government, what did the soldiers go to Nnamdi Kanu's house to do?
Wasn't he being investigated at the time?
When he was enjoying the bail granted him by the court after 2 years of unlawful incarceration? These are the critical questions, because I like to analyze issues based on cause and effect.
Right.
What was the cause and what happened to be the effect? The cause is that federal government acted very unlawfully. The cause is that the soldiers went to his house unlawfully. The cause is that his life was threatened. And the effect is that he had to run away, which is the natural stimulus of every animal, not just every individual.
Let's get Jide Ologun's reaction to the statement that you have made. He said government acted unlawfully, and it was the effect of that made Nnamdi Kanu jump bail.
Nnamdi Kanu himself mentioned the fact that he could have been killed with the others who were killed in his residence when the military came invading. And that's maybe a valid argument, but the issue now is that he has been rearrested. He was going through trial, and if you look at the Constitution of Nigeria, section 36 or section 5 in particular, 1999 as amended, he's entitled to what we call presumption of innocence. There are allegations against him of instigating terrorism, different charges, and unless these allegations are proved beyond all reasonable doubt in the criminal justice value chain, he may not be convicted. So it's now for the government. But my concern really, and my fear, is that with recent developments in the country, for example, the high level of insecurity, wanton destructions in the southeastern part of the country, that he is allegedly instigating even from abroad, it may be a tough one. But my concern goes beyond this rearrest of Nnamdi Kanu. What are the issues in the country? Nnamdi Kanu himself was born, I think, September 25, 1967, and that was when the Civil War started. That lasted for about 3 years, claiming millions of lives in Nigeria. And the issues that prompted this, we are yet to resolve in Nigeria. And like the Northern Coalition Group is saying, that this Nnamdi Kanu issue may not disappear with the rearrest. Can we look in the direction of referendum? And right now in the country, it's not just about Biafra. Other regions of the country are agitating. And what are these agitations focusing on? The engagement of the commonwealth of this country for the common good of this country. And unless we address this, we'll be arresting and rearresting and stampeding. That's on one side. On the other side, I think this has punctuate, or rather confirm, the capacity we talk about of the government to act if they want to act. I have mentioned it when it was time to get Nnamdi Kanu to proscribe IPOB, they acted. When it was time to get him, to make him run away, they acted. Can we, divert the same attention to the bandits, the unknown gunmen, and solve the crisis in this land? And finally, I want to advise this morning that the government should please look in the direction of public relations. The definition of public relations means that, a planned, deliberate and sustained effort to create and sustain mutual understanding between an organization or a country and the publics. So can we come together as a nation, address our issues, rather than all these confrontations that are keeping us in poverty and not allowing us to register our presence in the polity of developed countries?
Right, there's something he mentioned that I'd like for you to react to. He said that the agitations, though Nnamdi Kanu may have been rearrested, but that the issues and the agitations, what he's championing, may not go to rest. And the question on the minds of a lot of people is, with the agitations we have seen in the Southeast, would his rearrest actually fuel what we have been seeing in the Southeast?
Well, his rearrest will not just fuel it, what will fuel more agitation is if he's not given fair trial. If the people perceive persecution instead of diligent, lawful prosecution and fair trial, then there will likely to be some backlash. My brother and friend Jide mentioned the issue of referendum. And the question is, why is Nigeria of today shying away from that much needed referendum? On 11th February 1961, there was a referendum to determine the life of the British Cameroon. And in that referendum, the northern British Cameroon decided to go to Nigeria, and the southern British Cameroon decided to go to Cameroon. A lot of issues about religion and the rest played out. On 10th August 1963, Nigeria, this Nigeria that we have today, went into a referendum to determine the life of the old Midwestern region. And it was carved out from the then Western region through a referendum. In Catalan region of Spain, there was a referendum on whether they were going to remain or not. In Kurdish region of Turkey, of Iraq, sorry, there was a referendum. In Britain of late, there was a referendum whether they are going to remain with EU or whether they are going to go out of EU.
Absolutely.
So what the agitation that Nnamdi Kanu is championing is a civil agitation which the federal government has given the tent of criminality. It's embarrassing that government will do the normal Nigerian approach where a man and another man has issues with their land. They are tossing for land. The other man wants to bring in the police. He says there is threat to his life, that he tried to kill him and all that. Meanwhile, none of those things existed. Otherwise, what has Nnamdi Kanu done as a person that will warrant the charges of treason, that will warrant the charges of money laundering, that will warrant the charges, those high-ranking charges, which of course, government knows that they have to prove beyond all reasonable doubt.
Absolutely.
And it is the lack of that proof that has made government in the first instance to keep Nnamdi Kanu unlawfully in detention for 2 good years. You know what that means? And then even when he has now started going through his trial, government could not have the patience to wait for the law to take its course, and they stampeded him out of the country. Who is now the culprit in the matter between Nnamdi Kanu and federal government? I mean, let's look at issues the way they are, and not just being sentimental about, he's insulting anybody. When has insult become a crime?
Right.
It is a law of thought. It is a tortious offense of which, if you feel insulted, when America was going for election, somebody made an image of Donald Trump, a naked image of Donald Trump with a small ball, and kept it in a massive square. Did you not see it? Had Donald Trump killed him? The problem we have today is that we are not operating democracy. What we have is a civilian rule managed by military hands. And those tenets of democracy are lacking in Nigeria. Otherwise, why would federal government be so sensuous about issues of criticism and issues of civil agitation? What is wrong with that? If we go by way of referendum, if government, the same government is saying that Nnamdi Kanu has so many followers, does that not tell you something? If he is alone, would he have such followers? If the government now claims that the followers are essentially illiterate, conduct a referendum and say, let only those with school cert. Of course, you know that to be a president in Nigeria, you need only school certificate. Right. To be a senator, a governor, only school certificate. Conduct a referendum and place a benchmark that only those with school certificates would vote in that referendum, and let us see whether Nnamdi Kanu is alone or not. Okay. Government is shying away from the truth, and government is hiding from its shadows.
Now, let's get your reaction to this again, Jide, because he mentioned some things, talking about referendum and talking about fair trial and perhaps persecution, as he mentioned. And I'm wondering, in the context of fair trial, what will that be? In the context of persecution, what will that be? So perhaps you could just help us throw light to it before we come to the issue of why we are seemingly finding it difficult to have the referendum that he is, talking about.
Basically, the state will be prosecuting And in the criminal justice value chain, you need thorough investigation, diligent prosecution, and a committed judiciary. But right now, there is a deep-rooted mutual distrust in the country. So you see people even looking at the tribe of the judge that is handling the case, the body language of the government, making different kinds of comments. But having said that, this same government promised towards 2015 election to shift the burden of proof from the state to the accused in criminal prosecution. That has not been done. And he has a team of lawyers who will defend him. Having said that, I have hinted that the present crisis in the southeastern parts of the country may be prompted like trying to call the cat a bad name to hang it. And again, I want to emphasize an issue that what we are experiencing today has a history. I doubt if any of the present leaders of Nigeria was there to sign the 1914 amalgamation. What led to the May 1953 Kano riots are still the issues we are debating today. What led to the civil war of 1970? There are issues we are debating. Now, let me connect this to even the present trajectory. You know, Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen. Allegedly, he moved from Britain to Singapore and to Zurich, where he was allegedly rearrested and brought back to Nigeria. Now, Britain has exited Europe through Brexit by choice. They debated it. In fact, the Prime Minister then, because his position did not fly, resigned from office. All right, allowing the people to take a decision. Having said that, Singapore left Malaysia in 1965. And today, by virtue of resourceful leadership, is one of the best countries to live and work in the world. Is this relationship working? If we must remain united, can we have what is enshrined in Section 17 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, that says that a platform for our coexistence will be based on justice, fairness, and freedom? If we cannot guarantee this, and if again we want to even focus on the primary purpose of government as enshrined in Section 14 subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, that says that the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government, and people of Nigeria, citizens, can call for security, call for welfare if they appear not to be enjoying it from the government that should be providing. So why don't we go back to the basics? Because the Chinese say that you cannot carve a rotten wood. It appears right now that the project Nigeria we are trying to present and project and protect may be a rotten wood. Can we have a wood that can be carved? Can we work together so that we can enjoy the blessings of this nation? Like I said earlier, how can we engage the commonwealth of Nigeria for the common good of Nigerians? And I think that is the concern we have now, not just in the southeastern part of the country. Now we have the southwestern people also. We now have the Amotekun everywhere, even in the north. I just mentioned it now. The Northern Coalition are the ones saying this issue of Nnamdi Kanu will not go away. That can we have a referendum? And basically, democracy started in Athens in Greece. It is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. You don't forcefully lead a people. And the essence of being a nation is to enjoy the fortunes of that nation. So I want the government to go beyond this and look at the big picture rather than dealing with symptoms. And having put all this together, we constitutionally is entitled to very fair trial and diligent prosecution. And I have said it, that is if the trust capital is there for the government. And my big question this morning is that, looking at the antecedents we have experienced in Nigeria of late, is the trust capital there to assure us that there will be justice at the end of the day? That's the question I'll be throwing to you. Is that trust capital there to assure the people of a fair trial?
I want to be optimistic, except government doesn't want to be sensitive. I want to be optimistic that government should, I use the word government, yes, advisedly, because we know what we're talking about. That government should ensure that Nnamdi Kanu gets fair trial. A leader of a movement that is idealistic, a movement that is based on consciousness and not on physical realm, right? A movement that is based and that is etched an opinion, a phenomenon that is etched in the mind and the psyche of the people. Anybody who is that leader must be handled very carefully. Nnamdi Kanu has said it, and we all say it, that he has lost virtually everything in this movement. Not just that he has lost his parents, he has no property anywhere, he has challenged anybody. If you see him own property anywhere in the world, you can go ahead and see that property. That this is a cause that he wants to fight for. And the people that he is fighting for feel he is doing it well. And they want to sustain the tempo, they want to sustain the agitation. Forget the fact that some elite want to play the ostrich. I can tell you for free, Veronica, that nobody is enjoying the level of injustice, massive inequity, level of unfairness that is going on in Nigeria, because such level of injustice, inequity, and unfairness has held Nigeria down, has not allowed the people to exhibit and fulfill their God-given potentials and talent, to the extent that even the huge resources that we have, both human and material, in this country are not adequately harnessed. Life in Nigeria has become Herculean, and nobody is enjoying it. People are now saying, what is the way out? In every suggestion from both the elite, from the masses, from everybody, the solution is, let there be fairness and equity. Let us negotiate the basic essence of our existence. Because this was foisted on us. And as human beings, we should be able to determine. Two cannot work unless except they agree. There is no agreement in Nigeria.
No law. Now, can you another insecurity? No law, but what would you tell you? And when you are actually when they are building up election in Uruguay, they are trying to build up. Kaya game.
No, I'm ended there with that now. But twice Jamie before, and again, Munye Napa. So when there's some certain things in where you keep one Munye.
Odegeka, imagine Nnamdi Kanu on ege nwunye ya ntị ihe dota. Ọkwa ọ ga-Sokoto ahụ no 1 week. Nwunye Maazị Nnamdi Kanu ga Sokoto no 1 week. Ka ọ pụtara, did you see any changes na the problem no everywhere? Did you see any changes? Okay. Nyaka na-ekwu no ịchịkọta obi ọnụ. I am not onye aha ka m chọrọ. So unu nwa ga-agazigwa n'onye isi unu, because sometimes ibido na onye na-emebi ihe hapụ onye na-emebi ihe. Na-elezi onye na-asị ihe a na-emebi ka emezie ya, ga-esi ngwa ya kwụsị. Then hapụ onye na-emebi ihe. It doesn't make sense. Onye a na-akpọ emotional blackmail. Ahapụ gị eziokwu na mmadụ na-ayasa ihe. Ahapụ onye na-aghasa ihe, sị gị ngwa pampa onye na-aghasa ihe. Otu aka a ga-emegide ihe aghasazi totally. Ị na-enye m advice ụgwa. What I'm trying to say wụ, Maazị Nnamdi Kanu nọrọ ofu ebe chịkwa ime ụlọ gị ọnụ mgbe ị pụtazie. Then ị gakwa ugbu a na gị hụ, just today ị ga-ahụ ihe metụtara ga-ekwu, ị ga-ahụ ihe Njideka ga-ekwu. These are people working for him. Ị ga-ahụ ihe Ngozi Ọnabeze na-ekwu. Ama m nọ na-agakwa na their life na-agwa na-enye ha advice na ihe ha ga-work. I'm not your member. I'm after my safety and the safety of my children. Enwedo onye mere on invite mgbe unu bidoro anyị akpọtara anyị mgbe e bidoro Biafra Liberation Army. Did you consult us? I can't go home. Di m ala ụlọ for 3 years. People ala ụlọ ndị ala egwu ha egwu. Ọkwọta ka o si bido conversation. Ọta ka o si bido. Then I na-eche ikwu okwu mgbe a na-asị Maazị Nnamdi Kanu disassociate yourself asị mba ọwụ ya ndị lawyer ya. Ya no kwade na-ede ma ndị ọ na-edede na-ezu ochi. Asị mba hapụ ya na all lawyers na ọwụ ya. Ọ bịakwala ugbu a na raise 100 men. Enwekwe ndị ka na-asị na ọwụ ya raise 100 men. Ọ bịakwala ugbu a na-adọgbu IQ. Enwekwe ndị ka na-asị gị na ọwụ ya. That's the issue. And anọghị m n'ọba ekere ede. Anọghị m n'ahụ ụzọ asọmụta ọkụ. I am involved. Maka onye na-asị m na mmawụ an IPOB member, but your actions is affecting me and my family and my life and other people's life. And when they show me how to kidnap or And this is all you guys have to say. So, and when the ESN, any get another ESN for? Why are they fighting the ESN? Why are they fighting themselves? How can you be fighting for freedom? Then the war is now within you that is fighting for that freedom. So that's the issue. That's what I'm getting here with the solution. We don't want to have an eye to peace. Okay, when you are not informed too. It shows that none of this struggle. Man, don't have my name in the struggle. You know, the emotional this emotional blackmail will not work for me because Odogu says something.
Hello, good morning. No.
Nna ihe awo ele anya m agwa gị ndị otu ele ihe m na-eme na-achọ Okay, in other words, no, you are accusing me. In other words, they go make it, so I won't not to make you say me. Okay, where they go. So I will go to make go. That's what you're accusing me of. You have to watch your language. Because the last person is Mwabi. Okay, Azuanoka is the last person. That's why I'm going to remove one then Abata. Okay. It's a quiet check. I'm sorry.
Yes, my ajujumo like this. Like, I'm giving me an example. Like now, you in a company. You in a company in Germany when
Nigeria come no. Where Nigeria mad?
Okay.
And when company in Lagos when Enugu.
Excuse me. Okay, yes. Now, in which and then I look looking at those company. And okay, around. Then we bring him again. Those people now going on a company now, are not in peace. Are not on a tissue chop. I been one mistake. I went to issue when I won't go out. I just chicken a example. Now I went to issue when I got Nanga. Give you a nose and gam. Now who's in a home with a problem? Can you keep a
good? No, Nanga. I cannot control. I cannot manage my company. Who will manage it? So the directors of the company will take over, will step in to take over management because I'm aware. So how can they relate to me?
But that most senior staff bring back a problem. The workers name. Can you get that most senior worker?
You listen. You were trying to push me to believe. I don't know the narrative. If you question, I will answer you. And the organization. The only person I'm gonna report from the most senior staff. And when junior staff will be an no. Listen, some when things are going wrong. The staff. I'm not the owner of the company. I believe in a company. So I can be making decisions alone. Okay? Company name directors. Once some planning menka power polam naka. And one ya meet him sim or the most senior staff or the most junior staff. Sim MD. Things is going wrong. The manager happen me here. I will call the most senior director. Mena hano na aru the oru. See abiko, and with certain complaints. Look at those complaints and fix it. That's what I would, because Nanga, I won't do much. I won't do much.
Okay, go and visit, right?
Nanga, go in. And when the one person and directors, which I am part of. Name these directors. I was appointed to be the MD. Listen to me. Let me explain. Okay, in case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu doesn't own IPOB. They formed IPOB. People formed it and made him the leader. Then, as the leader, and when
my sister, brother, come on,
because right here, you listen, Oro Ginaka, and this is the last person I want to entertain. I said it here, so you're not even supposed to be here, not to talk of talking. Now, you ask me a question, and I'd like you to listen and calm down. On like you na IP when doing church. Adeboye when redeem and several people. Even in church, I have madam members and leadership. Na meeting, take care decisions. And that I'm sure na IPOB is not exceptional. Na IPOB, why the manji weba na IPOB or an organization with leadership? And that organization, the highest person, the highest body, na the organization who the leadership. Now, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, I have a question. Please stop coming up. I'm done. This person with the last person there, man. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, I don't talk anyhow. I can meet Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Can do win the DOS. You assume know the leadership of IPOB. I wanna how I wanna yeah when I assume no. Now I'm the owner of IPOB. The DOS are my staff. Unfortunately, he did not call them his staff. Are you listening to me? Otu ija kowaya, I would go to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu she wear kowaya. No, I'm done. Ekumia here that I'm done. Ekumia, this is the last person. No. I said it here. I said it. This is the last person. This is the last person. And you are running away from the question, maybe I corner. You ask me a question, let's deal with the question. You ask a question and I'm a corner. So you ask me a question and I'm answering you. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say more. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say. No. Let us finish. Now you can't tell me. Let me allow you to say whatever I want to say.
You are evil.
Legodu no mbiulo otakun gese nwata di Biafra. Legodu men otakun gese nwata na di Biafra onye ha na ekwu otakun gese nwata lenu men bia na akonu ko mu nwan. Le men nya unu na akonu gba na unu so no women. Kam hapu go no ngwa kowa no no ngwa kuwen I will leave you. Kuwen men enwo mu nso nwan na akonu. Men na akwa ngwa kowa no no I've left it for you ngwa. No, come on. No, come on. No, no, I'm listening. No, I've left no, takunu gese nwata de Biafra umunne kwesiri no kita uno kwesiri na ebe a na akọ ihe a umunne kwesiri no jika aka ọnụ na atọ de Biafra ihe unu no ngụgba na akọ nwu n'ọnụ ọwụ ihe unu kwesiri na eme umunne na atọzi Biafra unu atọ no zele yourself against you ya wụ na ihe ahụ federal government kwuru ajago takaga agala takaga confusion n'ime unu ihe ọwụzọ tunu shazọta de Biafra ihe ọwụzọ shazọta de Biafra. The civil war now is against you. Kalu is leading a civil war against Ndigo. Imagine Nnamdi Kalu is leading a civil war against Leihunu niile n'ebe a na-akọ na ụmụnne. Lezie ihe ụmụnne kwesịrị dị na-ekwu okwu dị Biafra. Lezie ihe unu na-eme. Lezie ihe unu na-eme ụmụnne kwesịrị dị na-azọta dị Biafra. Lezie ihe unu na ebe a na-akọ ọnwụ n'ọnụ. Lee ihe unu na-eme na ihe unu na-eme ugbu a nọ ihe nya nka Nnamdi Kanu bịa were confusion tụịga n'ime ụmụ anyị were confusion tụịga n'ime ụmụ anyị ha na-alụgbuso onwe ha ihe kwesịrị iji ofu obi na-eme eburu ego bunye unu a na-alụgbuso onwe unu. Lee ihe Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-arụpụta lee ya eburu ego bunye unu nwe kwesịrị ịdị na-alụ ọgụ dị Biafra unu a na-alụgbuchizi onwe unu. Lee ihe unu batara ebe a na-akọ onwe unu ọnụ na-alụ ọgụ ọwụ ihe ka Nnamdi Kanu kwere anyị na nkwa. Nnamdi Kanu set ụmụ anyị against each other. Ha na-alụgbuchizi onwe ha. Lee ihe unu na-alụgbuchi onwe unu. Lee ihe unu na-alụgbuchi onwe unu. Unu kwesịrị iji otu obi na-adọ dị Biafra. Lee ihe unu na-alụgbuchi onwe unu. Lee ihe unu na-alụgbuchi onwe unu ihe na-anaghị eme unu. Unu tụ na-abịa ịzọ Biafra enyezi unu ego unu a na-egbuchizi onwe unu. Ihe na-anaghị eme unu pụtara so unu na-achọ ịzọta Biafra. From ịzọtazi Biafra unu a na-alụzi ọgụ among you. Lee ya unu na-abịa ịzọ Biafra unu na-alụzi ọgụ among yourself. Ihe ahụ ihe Nnamdi Kanu chọrọ. No, Zuzuwe. Ọ taa ka unu ga-esi azọta dị Biafra. Don't worry.